Hey, what's going on, guys? Garden Shed here, and welcome. Just leaving Cooper. Got a bit of a confession to make. I had to swallow my pride massively and get them to fit my tank ring, which is really embarrassing. Basically, I went to go and fit it, and I spent ages. I could not get the bolt to bite in the tank. And I thought, oh no. And apparently just doesn't quite line up, so they've managed to fit it, which was brilliant, but yeah, it's just a bit embarrassing for me. But they were really good about it, so happy days. So that's all sorted for Scotland. As you can see, I've got my new sat-nav mount. I bought a sun visor for it because I realised the angle I mounted it at, I couldn't actually read it when there was any sun. Kind of defeats the point, and I was hoping that the elasticated straps would hold it in place and it would stop losing power. The power comes back fairly quickly, it's just annoying, so I'm not quite sure whether I'm just going to leave it. You know, it sort of occasionally comes up with the power warning and then very rarely shuts down, so I might just leave it, because otherwise it's going to cost me a fortune, and to go and buy, you know, a entirely brand new Beeline seems a bit excessive. They're quite expensive. Quite a nice road this. I've never actually been out this way to Cooper. I've always gone the other way, and it's fair to say that the road is a bit chewed up. So, oh, I wish I'd had my camera on my helmet on the way here. I should have pulled over. So every so often there's a thing around the area called Spitfire Rally, which is British cars. And it's basically anything up to modern day, but it's clearly quite a wealthy car club. And cause there's a lot of like pre-war Aston Martins and things like that, and all sorts of incredible machinery. They must have had an event on, because the whole way here it was, you know, vintage Astons, vintage Bentleys. I don't know if it's a British only event this year, because I also saw a Willis Jeep. Well, that's definitely not British. And I saw a Ford Escort. Well, Ford's not British, is it? Technically it was made in Britain, I believe. So hopefully we'll see some tasty vehicles on the way home. Other than that, what else has been going on? Not a huge amount. Obviously I leave for Scotland in a couple of weeks. Really looking forward to that. Oh, Northamptonshire roads. You gotta love them. I can't exactly remember how many times their council's gone bankrupt, but it's quite a few. And as a result, they have some of the worst condition roads I've ever ridden on. But then occasionally, you get a nice bit. It's still bumpy as anything. Yeah, I mean, the adventurous routing on this sat-nav is just so nice. That's why I don't want to get rid of it. And I think changing to another Garmin's not going to help. So I might just leave it as is, and, you know, hope it survives Scotland. Worst case, I'll take a battery pack with me, and I can always put it in my tank bag, so I can see it there. Or real worst case, you know, I can use my phone in a tank bag. But it's nice to try different routes. SatNav has a really good way of getting me off sort of my most travelled path on some new roads. Basically, I estimate it's going to be about 1,500 miles, or that's what the emails are leading us to believe, that it's about 1,500 miles. So I'm going to have to keep the mileage down on the Hemi before I go. That's good, it means I can get some practice in on the Tiger. That was the Subaru dealer that we bought my mum's car from. She wanted a big boot, so the way to test it was we put our 50cc quad bike in the boot of her car, and literally wheeled it into the showroom, plonked it in the back of a brand new one, and she went, yeah, we'll get that. I will point out, you know, that in its own doesn't seem so bad. It was more the fact that we hadn't washed it and it was covered in sheep shit that made them not very happy. But, you know, the guys at Cooper, really, really nice. I'm not sure if it's Cooperb or Cooper B, but I've always called it Cooperb. Always really helpful. So I'd highly recommend them. They didn't rub it in too much that I was being an inept spanner, and it took them all of 5 minutes to fit it. And unlike most dealers, did not charge me a full hour's labour to do it. I hate it when you get you know, a dealer, and they do something for like half an hour and they charge you a full hour's labour. I mean, that was a 15-minute job. Can't get used to these new tyres. The TKC70s, they're saying new. I've done about 300-400 miles on them. I much prefer the MT60s that this came with. Oh, that reminds me, seeing that van there, I mean, that's not one of them. Northamptonshire County Council have made themselves even more unpopular, in my opinion. They've started testing unmarked camera vans. I mean, it's almost as bad as Dorset and Cornwall, which have started using drones. It's just not very sporting, is it? You can at least give us a fighting chance. Okay, that's letting out so much smoke I can taste it.